Good morning and welcome to Dev's Digest. I'm taking you on a walk with me today. We're going to discuss how my husband is reversing his heart disease. But first I'm going to tell you the story, but I think I'll have to cut this into parts, several videos, because it's a long story. And it starts back in 2011. Oops, sorry. Okay, get this situated here. Alright, in 2011, I had a health condition that was related to my celiac disease that I didn't realize it was at the time. My body was having some new sensations that I hadn't had before. I'd had heartburn growing up, but this was a deeper pain, deeper down and lower down in the area of where my heart is. So I thought I was developing some sort of heart disease problem because I have health anxiety, which I think is common for people with autoimmune disorders because our bodies just do so many weird things. So I ended up in the hospital because the urgent care doctor thought I had a problem with my aorta, even though my blood pressure wasn't showing any signs of aortic trouble at all. And then when I went to the ER, they hospitalized me just because I was middle-aged and I was having chest pains. And they put me in for 24 hours and did a bunch of workup on me. But they only worked up my heart. They didn't work up my digestive system. It would have been really good to have an endoscopy that day. So, as it turned out, it was a hiatal hernia that was pushing up into my chest that was causing the chest pain and associated heartburn, which I had heartburn my whole life, but this was a different kind of heartburn, probably the one that they actually referred to as it being in the location of your heart and hurting instead of just the gastric reflux that you feel up in your throat. So in order to keep myself from to calm down my anxiety and to know that I was doing everything possible for my heart so I wouldn't be worrying about my heart anymore and I could just worry about my stomach, I did a search for, I don't remember what search terms I put in Google, but I did a search for the healthiest diet that there is for your heart. And I'd been on the McDougall program off and on, which is a vegetarian diet since 1996, but I did an awful lot of cheating on it and ballooned my weight up to 232 pounds. I've now since lost and kept off 40 of those pounds and working to take off another 20 or so. And what I ran across was a video from Dr. Gupta on CNN that was talking about President Bill Clinton and his diet that he had gone on to reverse his heart disease. And the word I'm saying is reverse because this diet actually has been proven to reverse heart disease. And so I was very interested because even though I didn't have heart disease, I knew if I was on a diet that reversed it, I would also prevent it. And since I didn't want to be worrying about my heart, so I could only know that my digestive system was a problem, I went ahead and tried this diet. The diet is called the Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease diet by, I don't know if we say that he was the creator of the diet or if he's just the facilitator of what is naturally created as the optimal diet for the heart. Well, backing up, I do know that he studied along with Dr. Colin Campbell the civilizations, and Dr. McDougall, the civilizations that have lasted the longest. What diets, what did they find in the autopsies of people who have died without heart disease? And the optimal diet that he recommends is a low-fat, plant-based diet. And so I went and got the book that he wrote that was based on, at that time, 18 years of studies that he had done with patients that were beyond help from medical intervention for heart disease. These patients were like they couldn't have bypass surgery, or they couldn't have stents placed because the blockages were too close to the aorta or whatever. And so he did these studies for 18 years with these very, very, very deathly ill people and reversed their heart disease. So I went on that diet, and I went on that diet at around Christmas 2011, I believe it was. Yeah, because then we flipped over to 2012. And I learned so much about heart health and reversing heart disease while I was on that diet, and all of a sudden I'm losing weight on this diet, and it's awesome. And all the while my husband was on the Eat to Live program. But for a heart patient that's told, well, you can eat one deck of cards worth of meat a day or a week or whatever, and you can have an ounce of nuts a day, or just, within moderation, folks, flaxseed oil or whatever. Is in a weak moment, you could say, oh, well, I had a deck of card worth of meat yesterday, and so I'll go ahead and have one today. It's not going to hurt me all that much. Well, that's what my husband was doing, and that was what I was doing before I went on the Esselstyn program. And I started the Esselstyn program December 2011, which turned out to be a godsend for future events. And I'm losing weight, and all the while I'm noticing that my husband is getting more breathless. When we're sitting next to him, he's breathing harder. He was getting very cold, very clammy and sweaty with exertion. He wasn't complaining about chest pains, but he was complaining about left arm pain. And he complained about this for a couple months. I guess this was like towards the end of spring. He started complaining about this left arm pain. And there are other physical indicators. Like, I'm sorry the video's so dark. I'm hoping that you'll just see this as a podcast and not worry about the video so much. But the information is important for people that are dealing with young men. He was a young man at the time, at 48. That's young for having heart disease. But anyway, I hope that the information will trump the video for you. I'm sorry about this. Anyway, so in the late spring, he's starting to have left arm pain. And so I'm thinking, I think he's got a problem with his heart, because his brother had stents placed. One brother had stents placed at the age of 42, and another one had a bypass surgery around the same age, the triple bypass. And I keep putting my hand over the camera. His circulatory system was so bad that they didn't have enough veins to do a second bypass surgery, which he needed just a couple of years ago in his late 50s. So this is a family thing. His grandfather died at the age of 56 from a massive heart attack. So, I had enough clues. And I kept talking to him about it, and he was saying, well, I'm following Dr. Furman's program, and I'm exercising, I'm playing basketball and tennis, and it's not my heart, it's my shoulder from carrying my computer bag to work, which he had a really heavy computer bag. And so we got him a laptop computer wagon thing that had wheels on it so he could pull it behind him, and that didn't solve the problem. So we thought, okay, well, maybe he's got, deep down inside I knew what it was, but we thought, well, let's go check his skeleton and see what's going on. So I had a chiropractor that was following me closely at the time and actually helping me with some of my health anxiety problems. And we took my husband to him, and he did a checkout on his back and everything, and he said, well, it could be your back, but really, Mr. So-and-so, I think it's your heart. I think you should go see a cardiologist. So that was in July. And I'm going to end the video right here because I don't trust my camera to go to the rest of the story. So I'm going to end and start a new one. And thanks for bearing with me.